Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we're looking around the globe for what we call the best of the best practices, the solutions that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And we're going to a planet of possibly 9 billion people by 2050. And so how do we provide the food, the fuel, the fiber, the infrastructure of education, healthcare, transportation, housing, all these things that are needed. And someone sitting right beside me is thinking about all these things and actually is trying to help bring this into reality. This is Sara Tadiwos, and she's the executive officer and board member. Two very important positions you have there, Sara. The Association of Women in Business Ethiopia, and it's called AWiB. And welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you for having us, for having me.
We're glad to have you here. You're the executive officer and board member.
I am a board member of
That's
AWiB.
a lot of responsibility that you have. And this is a very important organization in Ethiopia, but also starting now to be worldwide and even coming back to the United States. So tell us a little bit about why such an organization that you want to give so much time and energy to that in order to carry this forward because of where Ethiopia is today, but where you're looking at it to be in the future.
Well, AWiB is more, we're functional more in Ethiopia, but we try to collaborate with other, organizations globally. And it's very important because we're up to, unleashing, people's leadership potential and also responsible leadership. And we try to do that in Ethiopia by being, self-awareness is critical, self-reflection is critical for AWiB's, mission and vision to grow, to emerge, and then, develop yourself. So it's critically important because it's also a platform for people who are like-minded to come together, connect, and then also, utilize the resources they can in the association.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it, many people say, well, based on per capita income, and they do a lot of these metrics. But when you're in various countries of Africa, even Ethiopia, you realize that those metrics, in many senses, it really doesn't mean much because there's many more resources there than what they're given credit for. And people will pool and they bring their resources together. So looking at your leadership and the work that you're doing with AWiB, how is this actually helping you and your family by your participation and this constant investment that you're making into this very important organization?
Absolutely. The Association of Women in Business has so diverse group of people coming in cross-generational and then from different sectors, from entrepreneurs and business owners. So you wouldn't meet people, you would meet people that you wouldn't meet anywhere else but in AWiB. So it actually exposed me to meet so many people, women of who achieved in their career and business and who are giving back to their community as well.
Yeah, and also too, I've met a number of people that are in NGOs, they're in communities of faith, religious organizations, even government agencies that are very much involved and active in what you're doing. So even though it says, women in business, it really is, all this community has come together and you're working on this together, and it's almost like the community and the nation is the business that what people are all about. Yeah. So looking at the main programs and the activities you're doing, what are some of the main ones that you are doing, and why did you select those and not some others?
Yeah, to just go to that point, it's for people who think their life is their business also. So we have people from businesses.
Very broad definition, isn't it? Yes.
And then people from different sectors, private sector, the government, NGOs, like you mentioned. But talking about our programs, we do have several programs. For members, we have weekend activities that we run roundtable discussions by talking about, for example, self-confidence and the impact of culture on self-esteem, or about parenting. And we also have meditation. It's about self-care and developing self. So we do have roundtable discussions that happens every week to members. And also we have monthly activities, monthly events that we bring speakers, about business, how to make your business successful, or it could be how you can make it sustainable, and sharing ideas and stuff like that. So we have monthly events here. It runs throughout the year except August. And we also have one of the the two big programs we have is the May Forum, which we also, bring people from different sectors to have a dialogue and conversation and developing their skills as well. So the other big event we have is also the Women of Excellence, which runs like once a year in October, at the end of October. So we bring all the women that are successful, make them visible, we celebrate them. And then it's how we actually changing the narration of Ethiopian women in a way, because we tell their stories. And then we're creating models for young girls that are trying to, pursue their dreams as well.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And also the meetings that I attended here, there were a number of men that were in the audience, including myself, of course. And they were just as rapt, as far as attention was concerned with the topics and the speakers. And many of your speakers purposely are allowed to be, female. And also you had a number of young people that were involved.
Yeah.
So looking at this this mix of ages, as far as women and the youth, how do you determine who's coming in? Do the young girls and high school, even up to university, come with their mothers or grandmothers, other females, head of household? How does that all work, and how do you involve the youth?
The youth. So we actually every month our events are also open for male. We can't do this on our own. So we encourage males, to also participate in our events. And some of our speakers are also men. So it's like we're trying to do collaborative work with the male as well. But coming back to the youth, and we encourage everyone. It's cross-generational, like I mentioned. We have all ages and all types of women. Our main goal is whoever wants to take time for herself is invited to be part of it. So, and we encourage the young ones, like college students, for example, to come and volunteer through our internship program. And also some of them are part of, our programs for volunteering and internship programs. So that's how we connect them. And also our website is, there to share information. And then it's been viewed by over 500,000 people. And we have a Facebook page that we also share information and tips and about leadership and several things.
Yeah, the internet and multimedia outreach is really quite robust.
Absolutely,
and that's incredible.
It is.
And that's what you find out about Ethiopia. You hear about the African continent. People have these stereotypes of that, but Africa, as we have on the Emerald Planet TV site, is Africa fast forward, and Africa is really on the move, and it's going at a very rapid rate. And when you look at it, just like the photographs that we're sharing right here, you just see how sophisticated the society is and how people are actively engaged, involved, and I think it's just fantastic. But when you're reaching out to the community, I know you have the internet, you're doing word of mouth. What else are you doing in order to bring in the maximum number of people, women, the youth, and also anyone else that has interest in what AWiB is actually doing?
So our activities, actually, the monthly activities are also one of our reaching out to community in a way platforms, and the website, like I mentioned, and we do the May Forum, which is attended by over, almost 500 participants, which happens at the Economic Commission for Africa in Addis. And it's, widely spread. The word of mouth is one of it, but also the media, we also share it locally, and national media about our events activities when they come up every month.
And looking at that, I think that's really a good point, because I was going to ask you about the importance of networking and how you do that. That's some examples. But I know that networking in Ethiopia is very different than what we think of as networking generally in the United States. What are some of those differences, and how do you build on those differences, meaning the family, the community in networking, to make sure that everybody is included, because that's the nature of Ethiopian society, is that you want everybody to be connected and involved.
So we have for example, I'll take the Women of Excellence. We bring all the Women of Excellence that are being nominated by the community. We get the nominations from the public, and then they come from all over the country. And then those are our kind of our ambassadors in a way to talk about AWiB and to share the information about AWiB. And some of our Women of Excellence actually have been, through their exposure and their visibility at AWiB, they've they've been noticed, and then they get grants or to do more community activities they're doing. So that it has a ripple effect that whatever one individual is being visible, they become visible throughout their jobs and also networks, partners, and funders as well.
Now, something that you really are focused on is the African diaspora in the United States, and you're trying to connect those, and that's why you're spending so much time here. Mm-hmm. How is that networking going? Mm-hmm. And what are you doing that may be different than back on the continent, mm-hmm. or would it be just like what you're back in Ethiopia, mm-hmm. and you're doing similar kinds of things?
Well, we believe AWiB believes in collaboration and partnership. So we do collaborate, for example, with F3 Global, and we've had the founder and executive director coming in and making a speech at our one of our prominent events. And also we're trying to also collaborate with other partners. For example, the Africa Rise Up, which is a campaign which is coming up soon. So we do share, a common agenda in some aspects, so why not use that collaboration to a good cause? So we believe in that, and then that's why we're trying to reach out also to the African diaspora, especially Ethiopians, in the United States, to be part of the cause where they can give back to their community through AWiB. So if someone wants to, for example, sponsor a college girl, and then this is an opportunity for them to get the internships. So it's giving an opportunity for someone who doesn't probably know how to give back. This is a way, to connect back through their community as well.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing too. I think you really emphasize, and I think I went to 2 or 3 meetings, and it was the fact is, yes, you can donate, you can have sponsor the students, but we really want you, the person, to be involved in all of this. And it's just like this sign here. It says forgiveness is what you give yourself. Absolutely. And being involved and the energy is what you really give yourself. But looking at the long-term aspects of what you're doing as far as the organization, what do you see for the growth and development of expanding the networking outreach and bringing more people into the organization?
So we're trying to encourage, any woman who thinks that, she needs a connection or she needs to develop herself or cultivate and strengthen her leadership skills. Here is AWiB. So we're trying to actually increase our membership to be 500 members. So that's one of our goals, is to have as many leaders as possible so that they can